I love the look of blind applique when I want to stitch something down quick, fast with my machine and not by hand. The blind applique stitch is built into the Bernina 570 Quilters Edition. So I want to show you where it is and a couple tricks for getting it set up for success. Now usually you do use a clear thread, but for today I am going to use a standard color so you can actually see the stitches. So on this one, these circles have a turned under edge, so this is a finished edge, and I actually stitched after the quilt was quilted. So when we peek on the back side here, we see that the circles and the stitching actually go through the whole entire quilt. And that was just how I chose to do this last project that I actually did with the blind applique stitch. I had so much fun putting these circles on. Blocks that are from our Stitching Cosmos online course. This is actually student blocks that I commandeered, and I used them and then put them together in a fun quilt. One of my absolutely favorite pieces because this is a memory of everybody's first day at class. And they were able to give me the blocks so I could keep them as a keepsake. So at your machine, you are going to go to the quilting menu and you're looking for stitch number 1316. So yes, it does look like a blind hem stitch, but it has been adjusted for our applique, so you don't have to do that work yourself, like adjusting the width and adjusting the length. It's already preset. Most of the time, I do leave it at that 0.8 width and a 1.1 length. And as we stitch, it's just going to be stitched right close by. Just the little bite is going to go into the fold of the fabric, and then the straight part of this stitch actually lands in the base fabric. Now with the clear thread, normally I'll just use kind of a neutral thread in the bobbin. You can put clear thread in the bobbin, but most people usually just use it in one. I also like to use a Microtex size 60 needle that's much smaller, and so the little holes that it jumps into and creates when it goes into the fold don't show up as much. Now before we zoom in on the foot and the stitch, the other thing that you can do, because if you are using an open toe foot, which I am, is to move the needle position to the far right side. That way you can actually use the inside of the toe as your guide for working around your applique pieces. So if we'd left the stitch to be in the center, you can see that you're kind of on your own for guiding this and keeping everything nice and close. Now, if you have trouble seeing this little tiny stitch, remember Bernina does make a magnifying glass that you position right here, and this foot becomes magnified 10 times. It's pretty amazing. Now remember, I moved my needle position all the way over to the far right. So watch how this is going to sit. Now, as I quickly took a stitch, which I didn't mean to, but I do see that I need to make my stitches a little bit closer, there we go, so that the straight stitches go on the base fabric and then the little bite comes into the fold. Now remember, if I was using a smaller or thinner thread and a smaller needle, this bite would be nearly invisible. Now, if that width is a little bit wide for you, what if we actually adjusted that down just a little bit and made it even smaller? So that does take a little bit. If for any reason it bites and you miss it from time to time, no worries. I usually just let it be because usually the next stitch I catch it with the needle. But let's just take a look at what this looks like. And of course, if you are using clear thread, you are going to probably need to adjust your top tension so it doesn't pull up any of your bobbin thread. So the smaller the bite, the smaller the stitch. And again, if this was clear, you wouldn't see it at all. Now we are doing some other applique stitches that are built into the Bernina 570. And if you're interested in our Bernina Stitching Cosmos online course, make sure you check out all the free videos that you can watch to see if this course is right for you. And you can find those links in the description below this video. I hope to see you in class soon.